My name is Janae Stracke, and this is On Air with Heritage Action, a podcast built for conservatives. Twice a week, we break down in 5-ish minutes or less how you can get involved today in the fight for conservative values.
Hello, I'm Thad, and I'm filling in for Janae. Biden's new inflation numbers just came out on Wednesday, and guess what? They're not good. For a second month in a row, Americans are dealing with inflation rates over 8%, and the White House is doing nothing to fix it. Thanks to Biden's policies, we're paying more for basic necessities like groceries and gas. We're running out of baby formula, and we can't even afford to purchase our first homes. The day before the most recent 8.3% inflation number came out, Biden made a big 30-minute speech bragging about the success of his economic policies and insulting the plight and the intelligence of the American people. It's nothing new to us that Biden once again fails to take responsibility for the consequences of his policy failures or even try to shift blame. This time, he's blaming the Republicans and Vladimir Putin and saying that he thinks his policies have helped, not hurt. Listen to the president from Tuesday's speech.
Do you take any responsibility for your policies?
I think our policies help, not hurt.
Really? Let's break down his policies and how they impacted inflation. Rather than dealing with the national debt or even unleashing American energy, Biden has continued his excessive spending and limiting domestic energy production. He and Democrats in Congress spent $1.9 trillion on coronavirus relief, and now are pushing to spend trillions more in student loan forgiveness, Ukraine aid, and their radical climate justice agenda. President Biden kneecapped American energy on his first day in office by raising the costs for production, revoking permits for the Keystone XL pipeline, and subjecting energy producers to burdensome and costly regulations, all while looking the other way with Russia and Nord Stream 2. And nothing has changed. Even after his big 30-minute speech, Biden had the Department of Interior announce the cancellation of an auction for oil and gas leases. You know, what is so remarkable is how Joe Biden and his administration think that they can gaslight the American people into buying the lies they are selling. First, they told us that inflation was transitory. That wasn't true. Then they told us that inflation was a so-called Putin price hike. That wasn't true either. The data shows that inflation directly correlated with Biden's inauguration and decision-making. Now that we've established how Joe Biden got us here, let's talk about his so-called solutions. First, he says he's going to solve inflation by spending more to stimulate the economy. Isn't that what got us to this point in the first place? In his speech on Tuesday, he first talks about how important it is to confirm his Fed nominees. Well, let's talk about the kind of people he nominated to lead the Federal Reserve. First, we have Lisa Cook, who was just confirmed this week in a Senate vote along party lines. Lisa Cook has called our economy racist and advocated for reparations. Not to mention, she also advised Joe Biden on the economic policies that led us to our labor shortages. How did the workforce participation get so low? We'll look no further than her policy recommendations to President Biden. Second, let's talk about failed Fed nominee Sarah Bloom Raskin. Arguably one of the most flawed Fed nominees, Sarah Bloom Raskin was caught vocally advocating for devaluation of fossil fuels in the name of climate justice. You heard that right. Biden's pick to serve on the Federal Reserve Board advocated for the same policies that actually created inflation in the first place. And that's all beside the point because she and her congressman husband have faced several ethics complaints about their failure to report stock holdings and complaints about using her previous influence at the Fed to enrich herself. Third, another member of the Federal Reserve Board that was confirmed just last month is Lael Brainard. Not only could she not answer if she was a capitalist or a socialist when directly asked by Congressman Roger Williams in a House Financial Services hearing, but she also spread the lie that inflation was transitory. Is this really the expert we are supposed to trust for our economic futures? I think not. These are the people Biden wants to help him lead the charge in fighting inflation. Not sure how that's going to work. Next, in his speech, Biden says that he's going to release our strategic oil. Last time Biden tried that strategy, Americans got about 2 cents of relief at the gas pump, just enough to massage his failing approval numbers around the holiday season. Then he and the DNC bragged about it. He boasted about lowering the deficit. The only reason why the deficit is even slightly lower is because the Republicans defeated his Build Back Better agenda. Biden likes to use buzzwords like tackling inflation or lowering cost, but his speech was just another attempt to gaslight the American people. We all know his policies won't fix inflation. They will actually boost inflation and raise costs of everyday goods that we all have to pay for. His approach is so backwards, he even tried to attack the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. Take a look back at your bank accounts in 2018. Were they this bad? No. It's pretty obvious that the conservative, common sense approach to inflation was working much better than Biden's policies and excuses. It's clear that Biden and his handlers are completely unearthed from reality. They can't even keep their own lies straight. Finally, I think this is the most telling thing of Biden's whole inflation speech is when he said this.
You know, we have no plan. They have no plan to bring down energy prices today.
That's right. You heard correctly. He said, we have no plan. That's probably the most honest line that came out of the entire speech. Like every other speech he makes, this one was just a compilation of gaffes and gaslighting. Is this really the leader we want to entrust to solve inflation and bring back American economic opportunity? We certainly don't think so, and I would bet you don't either. Under Biden's leadership, we are all worse off than we were even just 2 years ago. We can't afford or find basic necessities like baby formula. Our costs are going up while our paychecks are going down. We've had enough of Bidenflation, and we've had enough of the Democrats' excuses. Thanks for listening.
That's it for another episode of On Air with Heritage Action. Thank you for tuning in. If you like what you heard in today's episode, please click the follow button. If you want to receive a text message each time a new episode airs, text podcast to 51776 and you'll never miss an episode. That's podcast to 51776. Hi, it's me again, and we need your help. If you like the insights and activist resources we are providing, please take 1 minute and help us spread the word. Share this episode with friends and family on social media, email, or text. We need everyone's help in the fight to hold Washington accountable. And don't forget, you are also able to subscribe and listen to episodes on your smartphone. Just open up your favorite podcast app and search for On Air with Heritage Action. Click subscribe and download episodes so you can take them with you on the go. It's the best way to make sure you never miss a thing. Thanks.